Happy New Year, everyone. It's January the 2nd, and my seeds are finally dried out from the kabocha squash and the acorn squash that we grew and harvested. Well, the kabocha was harvested before October, um, and the acorns were harvested before November, but this is when we laid the seeds on the trays after we washed them. So with the kabocha squash and the acorn squash, when I harvested the squash, we scooped out all of the seeds, and I took my time and picked all of the seeds out of the pulp, and then I put the seeds in my strainer here, and then took it to the sink and I washed them in warm water. And I got all of the pulp off the seeds. You just put the seeds in the strainer. If you don't have one of these, you can use a colander. And you get all that pulp. You wash all that pulp off, and then I let them dry. And then I took and I used after they dried in the sink in the strainer here for about, I don't know, half hour. Then I laid them out on some. This is wax paper, and this right here is parchment paper. I used to lay them out on newspapers and paper towels to dry, but when they dried, you'd go to peel them off, and the paper towels and the newspaper would stick to the seeds. So you can see here, these are dry, and it doesn't stick to the parchment paper or the wax paper. And what I'll do now, these have been drying out. I lay them out like this, and I put them in we have a utility room that stays pretty warm because our hot water heater and our furnace is in that room. So these were put in there on October. So they've been 3 months there. And then we put these, harvested these, and the last ones we ate, I have more seeds than this, but I'll just show you how I save these seeds for long term. These were harvested and eaten in November, so I washed the seeds and laid them out on the paper here, and now they're good and dry. So they've been a couple of months. I always wait at least 2 months on these bigger seeds like this. If you're doing tomato seeds or something like that, you don't have to wait as long before you package them up. But these bigger seeds, you can see how big these seeds are. They take a good amount of time to dry out. I did some pumpkins one year and put them in, let them dry for about 3 weeks, and then put them in my paper containers, and they molded on me. So I give them 3 months, the bigger ones, and 2 months on these smaller ones. But how I save them is I take envelopes. Usually everyone has envelopes laying around their house. And what I'll do is I'll take one of these peel and stick envelopes, and I'll write down here, let's see, acorn squash. And that's 2022 seeds. And then we'll write kabocha squash 2022 seeds. And I'll take this scissors. Let me just fold it in half so I know we're getting. And we'll cut this thing about in half like this. And then I'll just take some, we'll lay that there. I'll just take some of my wife's Christmas tape here. And I'll tape up the one side of this so the seeds don't fall out. And you can see what we've done is we've made our own little seed packet. You can store them multiple different ways, but you always want to store your seeds where they can get some air to them. You don't want to put them in a plastic bag, because if you put them in a plastic bag, your seeds can't breathe, and they need to breathe. I put them in plastic containers, mayonnaise jars. I've used canning jars, but I always poke holes in the lids if I use those. And we say long term. You can see here's a mason jar of our carrots, and these were from 2020, and I poked holes into the jars, and that gives them some air. So if you put your seeds in these envelopes or whatever you have, any paper container, not a plastic Ziploc bag, because they can't get the oxygen they need. And I've had seeds that we've stored like this for many years. Let's see here. Let me get all these up. And then I can just reuse this. I'll just set this back in the room. This is just a pizza tray with some parchment paper, and this is a cookie sheet with wax paper. But I'll go ahead and do them like that. There's my acorn squash seeds. We'll peel this label off, and we'll go ahead and seal them up. And that's that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put some tape on this. Everybody should have some Christmas tape laying around. And if you don't, you can get it at the dollar store. The envelopes actually come from the dollar store for $1, maybe $1.25, something like that. So go ahead and seal your one side up. Label what you have here. And then we'll just go ahead and get these seeds. If they'll all fit. These may not all fit. I may have to do another one. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do 2 on this one. So we'll leave that, and we'll do 2 of these. And we'll go ahead and seal that up. And there you go. Just like it's a paper pack, not plastic, so your seeds can breathe. I just use an envelope. You can use newspaper. A lot of people will fold up newspaper and do this the same way. You know, when you buy your seeds in the store, they don't come in plastic bags. They don't come in glass jars. They come in paper packs. And they'll store for a really long time. These are some radishes that we saved just like that. And we put them all in our crisper in the bottom of our refrigerator. And these have been in the refrigerator since 2017. This was actually radish seeds we bought, grew the radishes, left several radishes to go to seed, and these are our own seeds from heirloom radishes. And let's see, this from 2017. And you can see there, those seeds look just like the day we bought them in the original packs. Put them in the packs, put them in your crisper, and they'll stay long term. These are from 2017. I planted these last spring and last summer, which was, well, I still actually have some of these growing. We didn't pick them because we wanted to leave them in as a cover crop, so it'd keep the soil from compacting with the snow loads. But these are still good. We harvested, I have videos in my playlist of the radishes in my playlist videos were from these 2017 seeds. So they're still viable. Now, they may not be as viable as brand new seeds, but I didn't pay anything for these. I made our own seeds. These are heirloom kabocha squash. We made our own seeds there. Heirloom acorn squash. So we made our own seeds there. And just a little way to be a little more self-sufficient. Show you how to save your seeds long term. This right here proves that you can, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's 5 years. This will be the 6th year right here on these seeds. And I've got plenty. I've got thousands of them. I got another container in there that's full just like this. These carrot seeds were from 2020, and we grew these this year also. Well, last year, because it's January the 2nd. So just another little bit of info on how to save your seeds long term. You can put them in a box and set them somewhere cool and dark. I always put these seeds in our crisper. We don't put anything else in there. We've got it dedicated just for our garden seeds, and they stay good for many, many years. And it's easy to do. It's cheap. I think this box of labels was $1, $1.25 from the dollar store. You take $1 at the dollar store, and it's easy to save your seeds. Just make sure your seeds are dry before you put them in your envelopes here, and they'll store for many, many years. Thanks for watching. God bless and Happy New Year.